What's up everybody? So Apple has today released the latest beta update to all its developers, iOS 17 Beta 6. Now if we take a look at it here, it is a fairly smaller size. So if we go to settings and then general, software update, you'll see that on my iPhone 14 Pro, it is around 766 megabytes right here. And I was facing still that bug where this page keeps refreshing. It's not happening now, but when I checked it earlier, it was still happening. So that was not fixed in Beta 5. Hopefully it is in Beta 6. Apple also released iPadOS 17 Beta 6, watchOS 10 Beta 6, tvOS 17 Beta 6, and HomePodOS 17 Beta 6. There was no update for macOS Sonoma as of now. Hopefully the macOS update will also be out within a couple of days. Well, and this beta update should be out to the developers already by the time you're watching this video, and to public beta testers hopefully in a day or two. So let's get this updated and let's see what's new. Alright, so now that we have this updated, let's go and take a look at the build number. So we'll go to settings and general, about, and we tap here. And as we can see, the version number is 21A5312C. Now the fact that it is on C, the last update was on D. If you didn't know, the Apple versions, its build numbers in reverse order, and the closer you are to A, the closer you are to the final version. So that's a good sign. You are very close to a final version, just 2 letters. And we are expecting the iOS event to be on 12th of September, which means that the final version would be or should be out. The RC build should be out by 18th of September. And currently we are on a weekly cycle of updates. So next week, we should hopefully see a B version iOS 17 Beta 7. The next thing, we do not have a modem update in this firmware or modem firmware update in this build. This is exactly the same as we had in Beta 5. And my network connectivity has been okay. I wouldn't say that it has been the best, but it hasn't been the worst either. I have definitely seen Wi-Fi being disconnected sometimes earlier in the range part than it used to before, but your mileage could vary. Now that we have seen the build number and the modem version, let's check out what's new in terms of features. Now, the very first thing that Apple has changed is on the call screen. What they have changed is they have changed the location of the call button from being on the right bottom to the center again. In earlier iOS versions till iOS 16, we had it right in the middle, and a lot of people were finding it very difficult because of the change of the position and they were accidentally clicking the wrong buttons. So Apple has quickly changed it back to the middle. It's not exactly still in the same area where it used to be in iOS 16, but still it's in the middle, and that should be easier to readjust. Now the next thing you'll see is a bunch of splash screens that I've seen. So if you go to the Photos app here, you see that there's a new splash screen. There isn't any new feature per se, but you can see that it talks about albums and photo widget, pet albums, pinch to crop, and more customizable memories. Similarly, if you go to the Health app, you'll see a new splash screen talking about sharing your data. And I'm just going to click on Do Not Share Data, but that's there. Now, another new thing that you can see is if you go to Music and you play music right here, and then you lock your screen, the animation over here has changed a little and it is much smoother. If you click on this icon, now you can see that the text goes in the middle quite slowly as compared to before. It's much smoother, whereas before it used to be instant. It's a small change, but it's definitely a welcome one. Now the next changes have to do in settings a little bit. So if you go to settings and you go to display and brightness, you can see that the wallpaper back here has now been changed to reflect the iOS 17 one, including the font. Before this, it was still iOS 15 wallpaper, and I'll put a screenshot of the old one right around here. I only have one device, so I cannot compare and show you. But I did take a screenshot before updating, and I'll show you that. Now, the next thing that you will see changed is if you go to your messages and you go to iMessage apps, now you can see that there is an option to switch on or off. Earlier, that used to be only option to remove, which is similar. It used to look similar to this minus icon here. Again, I'll put a screenshot right around here to compare from the earlier version. But now basically you can just turn them on and off, toggle them and that's great. Now the next thing is that some people have said that they are seeing in Europe the Apple Card pop up. Now for me, I used to have an Apple Card back in the United States, because of which I definitely cannot test it unless they give a feature where they will allow me to change the Apple Card location from being in dollars to euros. But some people in Germany and one other country have seen it, I think Hungary, have seen Apple Cash pop up. So maybe Apple is expanding on that. Now another change that you'll see is in the Messages or iMessage app. Now if you here click on the plus icon and keep it pressed, so basically if you long press, you'll see that your gallery automatically pops up. Earlier it didn't used to happen. Earlier it was basically you had to click on plus and then go to photos. But now you can just long press on this and this gallery will pop up. So that's new. Now the next thing that is new is in shortcuts. If you go to shortcuts, now you have new actions to enable or disable your cellular connectivity. So as you guys can see here, we have two shortcuts, turn network off and turn network on. I just created them. So what you can do is, if we open this, what you'll see here is that you can select the line. I'm not going to click that because it will show my number. But basically, if you have multiple SIMs, you can select which mobile plan you're doing this for. And then that's the action, turn on the mobile plan. And the same way, if we go and look at the turn off, you can just change this action to on or off. And there's multiple options, toggle or turn. If you do toggle, I think you can just do it in one shortcut. But let's go ahead and take a look here. So if I just click on turn network off, you'll see that I have lost my network here. And then if I click back on turn on, I should get back the network right here. So as you guys can see, as soon as I clicked on the turn network on, I was able to get that. So let's just go ahead and create one and try to create the one with the toggle action. So I'll just go here and search for mobile, and I can select the toggle mobile plan option. And then instead of turn, I can select toggle and then your plan. And that's what you can do. So basically I'm guessing that this one should be able to just toggle between on and off. We'll just keep that name and press done. And if I hit this now, it's switched off. And if I hit it again, it should turn it back on. And there you go, it has turned it on. So you can do it in one, and this action now works correctly. So that's new in shortcuts. So if you find any new bugs, make sure to go to the feedback app and report them. I keep doing that from time to time. And also you can go and check whether those similar issues have been resolved or are already filed or are known issues before you file them. So if you go here, you can see that there are release notes for beta 6. And what you will see is that the number of categories of bug fixes has greatly reduced. Now that could mean either they just changed the categories, or it could mean that they worked really hard to get a lot of bugs resolved. This was a small update like we saw, but I think it does look like it has fixed a lot of them, and the known bugs has also reduced quite a bit, meaning that we should have a much more stable release. Now the battery life for me in beta 5 has not been good, and in fact my battery has definitely suffered because of that. So if I go to battery and I go to battery health and charging, you can see that it is at 92%, and it has not even been a year since I've gotten this. Now definitely I've always been on betas since I bought this phone from day one, so that definitely affects battery health. But beta 17 battery has not been great for me most of the times, as we'll see here. So if you go to last 10 days, you'll see here now I do charge multiple times in a day sometimes, but if I'm home, I just have it on my MagSafe charger. But on days when I do go out, sometimes I'll see that it uses a lot of battery. And the last 2 or 3 days, I did do some cinematic video shooting as well as some rendering through the Clips app. So because of this, definitely the usage is high. You can see here recently deleted app. There was the Clips app when I was recording my face cam for another one of the video that's coming up, but that took a lot of battery. But anyways, my battery hasn't been that great, but it hasn't been too bad either. I do leave the home with some battery anxiety if I know I'm going to be going out for a long time, and if I don't have my car, because if I have my own car, I usually have my charger there. But if I don't, I make sure to carry a cable so that I don't suffer because of the betas. So that's about it, and do let me know in the comment section below what you guys think and what your experience has been with the iOS 17 betas. And in terms of whether you should install it, I would say that if you're not on betas, just hold off for another beta. Maybe next Tuesday we should see the next beta 7, and I would say hold off until that. Let's see how it goes, and I'll update you guys in a short about the performance in probably a few days after using it. Now this time around, I would like to mention that the update took much longer for me to actually happen. It got me worried if it got bricked or something, but it did go through finally, and that's good. But also the device has not been that warm after updating this time. Usually after you update, the device gets pretty hot because it's optimizing storage and stuff like that. This time it's been pretty cool, which is a good sign, and I hope this continues. Alright guys, if I have any new features in watchOS or iPadOS worth mentioning, I'll definitely make a video or maybe some shorts about it, depending on how much content there is. And I'll see you next week in a next beta update video. See you around. Bye-bye.